was interesting preparing this talk because last month our theme was centering, and this month is grounding. And I thought to myself, well, aren't they both the same thing? It's like, aren't we talking about essentially the same thing? So I kind of had to delve into that a little bit. Is it possible to be centered and not grounded? Maybe we can be inwardly focused on our spiritual path, but we can lose touch with the earth. Because of course, being grounded is being connected and present. I think it is possible to be very spiritual, but out of touch, or vice versa, so grounded that we may have lost touch with our divine essence. And I'd like to share a story with you of when my kids were growing up. 3 little boys, and we had moved to a new house in a small subdivision, and we were in a cul-de-sac, and at the end of the cul-de-sac there was this big wall. And it was quite a nice looking wall, but it was quite high. On the other side of this wall was a construction site. Well, my 3 very active, very daring boys were just totally drawn to climb over this wall. I can't remember now quite how they did it, but they will be constantly going over that wall. And of course, as their mother, is like, this is not a place for little boys to be. There was construction happening, heavy equipment, etc., etc. So after they'd been over a few times and, have been told that they mustn't do that, it's like, okay, now you're going to be grounded for a week. And quite frankly, they were on their way to being grounded until they were 30. And one particular occasion, it happened to be Christmas Day, and we were living in Hawaii, and many of our friends were also people from elsewhere. And so we would get together and we would celebrate the holidays together. And we were going to be on our way to a friend's house to celebrate Christmas with them. And I happened to be dressed in all things in a sari. This Fijian Indian friend of mine had given me this beautiful red sari, and it had this band of poinsettias along the edge of it, and I had learned how to wear it, feeling very precarious because you're all wrapped around with yards and yards and yards of this silky fabric. And anyway, I was all dressed up and one of them was missing. Well, we knew where he was. So I'm at the base of this wall in my sari, yelling at whoever it was to come back. And of course, I couldn't send another kid to get him because then 2 would be gone. I'd learned that lesson pretty early. So, and the thing with wearing a sari is you feel precarious, like if I step on the hem of this thing, I'm going to come unwound. So, anyway, it all worked out. We had our Christmas Day. But thinking of this, kids have this drive to experience and understand more. And I think that was what was compelling them to go over this wall. It's like, it was so interesting. There's all this stuff happening. And I think we all have that drive. And it's a divine gift, that gift to experience a whole of life, to experience in its fullness. And of course, as kids, we have to temper that drive without extinguishing the spirit. And I think the same for us. We have to temper our drive for spiritual understanding by coming back to earth every so often. So we all desire to be free. We don't want to be restricted. We don't want to be grounded in that sense. And we want to realize new heights of knowledge and understanding. And just recently, I came across a piece of music that I'd heard many times before, and I'd forgotten about it. And it's a piece of music by Ralph Vaughan Williams called The Lark Ascending. And it's a tone poem. And it's very, very beautiful. And it's really describing the flight of the skylark. And in England and across most of Europe and I think Eurasia, there is this little bird called a skylark. It actually nests on the ground, but it soars way, 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 way high in the sky. And it's up in the sky singing, singing, singing way above your head. And I remember as a little kid, we used to go on picnics to this hill. We used to call it Strawberry Hill, and it's part of the South Downs, which are chalk downs. And trees and shrubs don't grow on the top of the chalk downs, they're all turf. And we used to go to this, we used to call it Strawberry Hill, that was not its name, but wild strawberries grew on this hill. So we kids would be there with our little fingers picking these teeny wild strawberries which have this intense, wonderful flavor. And way above our heads, the song of the skylark. Way, way, way. They're so high you can't even see them anymore. So this beautiful thing, but the skylark always comes back to earth. So we too can soar. We long to soar, but we always have to come back to earth one way or another. In fact, all creatures of the earth, even the birds of the air, even those who don't nest on the ground, they come back to earth themselves on branches of trees, etc. And even the creatures of the water, they're grounded in the water. We cannot lose that connection to the earth. And there is, I want to also share that this tone poem also helped me very recently. It was actually Friday night, you know, all the things that happen on Friday nationally. It was very troubling to me. And I woke up at 3 o'clock in the morning, just my mind going 90 miles an hour. Actually had to turn the light on and read a book for a while, which actually a book that our friend Charlene lent me called The Immigrant's Garden, and it's all about gardening, and that helped settle me. And at the same time, this tune, this piece of music was playing in my mind. It's kind of like, okay, we can soar above, and then come back grounded. And here it was being grounded in a book about gardening, which helped to soothe me, and I was able to turn the light off and go back to sleep again. So that idea that we can rise above, not just soar to explore, but also rise above those things that trouble us and come back to ground ourselves simply in the sense of being. And I think this is so necessary for our sense of health and well-being. It's very easy for us humans these days to totally lose our connection with the earth. We are connected, of course. We can't help but be connected. Here we are, we're walking on the earth. We are fed by the things of the earth. We're breathing the air, and yet we can feel disconnected. Isn't that sad? We're so busy with our gadgets, and I'm just as guilty as anybody else, playing on gadgets for hours sometimes. We can be so busy in our minds, the monkey mind, so distracted by worries and our busy schedules, that we forget that we are part of this earth and we need to come back and connect. And if we are not connected, we're not so present in our own lives. And that, of course, is a shame, because we're losing that moment-to-moment mindfulness. So let's come back to earth. Let's acknowledge and get grounded and respect and love this ground. We walk on this earth that nourishes and sustains us. Thich Nhat Hanh said, "Walk as if you are kissing the earth with your feet." And that's the little quote that's in our bulletin today. And I would like to do a short meditation here, kind of following on from the meditation that Jeannie gave us of coming to the heart chakra. So if you can just take a few deep breaths, settle yourselves in your chairs, and breathe deeply, coming into that heart space, feeling that wonderful green light that Jeannie was talking about earlier on. Breathing into that, feeling that throughout our bodies. And then imagine our spirit like a bird, like the skylark, far above our heads. It is coming down through our crown chakra, down into the third eye, and the throat chakra, and down into the heart chakra. And as it enters the heart chakra, it acknowledges and expands that love. And then it flows that love down through the lower chakras, and then down through our feet and into the earth. And we're sending this love into the earth. We are grounding ourselves into the earth. Just feel that sense of love, our feet connecting with love to the earth, with gratefulness. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you for all that you give us. Thank you for caring for us, for grounding us here. We acknowledge and respect you. And just stay in this place of connection for a few moments. Slowly open your eyes. Thich Nhat Hanh would lead his students in meditation walks. He taught them to walk very slowly, and it was kind of like slowly sort of walking with one, feeling the heel go down and then the toe. And I've spent some time in India on some of the Buddhist pilgrimage sites, and you could always tell the Thich Nhat Hanh people because they were walking very, very slowly, which none of the rest of us seem to be able to do. But what a lovely concept, to kiss the earth with our feet, as if we say thank you with each step. Thank you, Mother Earth. Thank you, Panchamama. I love you. And surely when we ground ourselves in some activities such as being in nature, taking walks, forest bathing, swimming in the ocean or a lake or a river, sitting on a bench in the sunshine, gardening. Surely all these activities remind us that we are connected, grounded. We are on and of the earth. And it's sort of interesting. I understand there are people who really feel that they've come to inhabit these bodies from some other galaxy somewhere. And what I would say, it's like, maybe that is so, but even so, these people have come into their earthly bodies, have grown in the womb of an earthly mother. So they genetically are connected to this earth. So even if you have come in from some galaxy far, far away, whoever we are connected with this earth. And we are here for a reason, to be connected, to grow and love and understand this earth we live on. And hopefully, fall in love with Panchamama, how beautiful our home is, how we delight in her, treasure and protect her. And unfortunately, we've been doing anything but that. I won't go on an environmental rant here, but we do need to come back to respecting and loving our Mother Earth, because she does sustain us. And we've done some almost irreparable harm, except sometimes you see that even where we've done harm, Mother Earth comes back. And I was thinking when I was out in the garden just a couple of days ago. It was the first gardening I've been able to do this season. And it's like, nature doesn't like straight lines. Nature likes things to be all wiggly. And nature doesn't like concrete very much. And things will come up through concrete and tarmac, and it's like, hallelujah, thank goodness. I don't think I care much for straight lines and concrete either. I know that they're useful and necessary, and I'm only too happy to drive my car on a paved road, etc. But how wonderful to rejoice in things that are wiggly and things that are just a little bit unkempt. So all these activities, being in nature, make us feel good. In fact, science now tells us that spending time on the seashore or by a waterfall or in a cave actually is beneficial to us, because those places have a greater abundance of negative ions, and those negative ions just do something to us. And I don't know scientifically what that doing is, but they do something to us, and they help to rejuvenate us and make us feel good. Science also acknowledges that contact with the soil benefits us, contrary to what many of us have thought, especially with having little kids growing up and ourselves being little kids and loving to play with mud pies and in mud puddles and just getting gloriously dirty. This is actually good for kids. They actually need to be in the dirt because it boosts their immune systems. They need that contact with things that we say, oh, don't get dirty, don't get in the dirt. No, it's good. We need that contact. And there is a book many of you may have read called Earthing. Earthing, the Most Important Health Discovery Ever. And it's by Clinton Ober, Stephanie T. Sinatra, MD, and Martin Zucker. And it all is about grounding ourselves. It's about how we need that. I think there's a magnetic connection to the earth. It's a long time since I read this book, but we actually need that connection, and it can actually be very healing. There's also a movie called the Earthing Movie, and it extols the benefits of going barefoot. And personally, I love to go barefoot in the grass. I'm not so good at being barefoot other places because my feet are a bit too tender. But there is a caveat. If you have clover in your lawn, you could be stung by a bee on the sole of your foot. And I've done that a couple of times. And then I couldn't get that foot in anything but a flip-flop for a while. So just be aware, there are some caveats with that. So there are many, many ways to ground ourselves. And how good it feels, even after much physical exertion, to come back in dirty and tired, but feeling rested and peaceful. Anybody experience that? It's like, I'm just totally exhausted, but just feels so good. So we can soar. We can soar as high as we need to go, and we can take that fulfillment of soaring, of understanding great spiritual truths, and we can come back to earth and dance with them. We can feel our feet on the ground, and I think we see this in many so-called primitive cultures where people just get out there and dance, like big time dance, just wild, wonderful, crazy rhythmic dance. And we kind of a bit too reserved these days, except when we get in what they call a mosh pit or whatever it is, and get high on something to really kind of lose those inhibitions. But yes, let's dance. Let's get on the earth and dance. Let's celebrate and rejoice being grounded. And let's just keep on saying, thank you, dear Mother Earth. Thank you for sustaining us, supporting us, nourishing us. And blessings to all. Thank you.